My name is Jesse Rushing. I've been with the Walton County Public Library System for a little over 7 years now, and today we're going to be doing a historical tour of the library. Now, the reason why our library is historical is it's actually the oldest continuously operating public library in the state. We opened in 1887, and we've been a public library ever since, a little over 135 years now. The original library was just the front room. It's about 16 by 24. However, the library board ran into two problems very early on. The first is they filled up the front room to the point that we have library board meeting minutes where people were standing up and complaining that they physically could not fit between the bookshelves. And the second problem is the porch that is now our second room. The original idea was people would sit on the porch and read and not take books home. But this is Florida, and in between our summers and our winters, you're not sitting on a porch and doing much of anything, especially with Victorian clothing on. The library board just solved two problems with one solution. They closed the porch in, and that's the second larger room of our library. Everybody always notices the weapons collection that we have. The weapons collection is actually a donation of a donation, but it's originally from the Bruce family. And Wallace Bruce was a poet, and he came to DeFuniak for the first Chautauqua meeting and fell in love. He actually fell in love to the point he literally wrote poetry about DeFuniak and about the lake. And he bought the rights to the Florida Chautauqua and ran it for about 40 years just to have the excuse of living here. The other thing, we do have other historical items. We have a Regina music box that was donated to us, made sometime before 1914. We're not sure of a date. The music box is actually a demonstration version, so it would be sitting on a showroom floor. Regina didn't give their demonstration models serial numbers. They were considered expendable. Either they would be sent back to Regina, be scrapped and the parts reused, or they would be played until they just came apart and were disposed of as scrap. We know that this model was produced, the last one was produced in 1914. None of our discs have a patent date later than 1898, so the discs themselves would have had to have been produced sometime before 1905. So that gives us a rough estimate. As far as books, people always ask us about, do you have any historical books? Well, we have first editions of a lot of older books. We have some of Mr. Wallace Bruce's first edition of poetry books, because he donated copies of those to the library in 1886, 1887. But the most famous one we have a autographed first edition of Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird. And that one comes from the fact that our director in the 80s, Miss Marilyn Coe, and Harper Lee were pen pals. Harper Lee wanted to see this library and wanted to see DeFuniak. A couple years ago, DeFuniak was called the best small town in the United States. And we have people visit us from all across the globe. And if you come here, come to the library and come see us. And not just because we're the oldest library in the state, or we're a quaint little old building, but come and see where the community came from and get an idea of where we're going. Because I think if the city can keep its spirit and keep its sense of what it is, I think we can go places.